My friend George and I are both knocked unconscious by a basketball. When I wake up, I suddenly hear my late mother's voice. Tam, don't let George fool you again. He loves pretending to have amnesia just to toy with you and please Ariana Rogers. I freeze and look at George, who has just woken up. I hear him ask, "Who are you?" My mom goes on, "In your past life, he ruined you. You gave him a good life and everything you have, but he killed you just to be with Ariana. Listen, your dad is about to ask you to choose a boy to be your brother. Don't pick George. Choose the boy from the Muller family. Even though he never smiles or gives you the time of day, he quietly carries your bottle for you during training every time." Before I can process it, my dad walks toward me and holds out several photos of boys. He says, "Tam, they are all children of soldiers who sacrificed for our country. I plan to adopt one to be your brother. You choose. From now on, we will be a family." This time I do not hesitate. I point straight at Clyde Muller. I'll listen to Mom and choose him. When Dad heard the choice I made, he looked at me in surprise. "Tam, don't you usually butt heads with that Muller kid? You sure you want to choose him as your brother? Think carefully. Once it's official, he'll be family for life." My dad was a big deal in the military district. Anyone who joined our family basically got a fast pass to the top. Ms. Carrie Sutton, George Greenberg's distant aunt, quickly stepped in. "Tam, George just has temporary amnesia. He doesn't remember you right now, but didn't you love playing with him? Why don't we wait a few days? Maybe his memory will come back." Mom scoffed loudly in my head. "What nonsense. In your past life, that little girl from the Rogers family tore your favorite bow. You barely said anything, yet George locked you outside. You stood in the rain for so long you almost got sick. In the end, it was that Muller boy who came looking for you with an umbrella. He kept saying what a hassle, but still draped his coat over you." Hearing that, something in my chest tightened. I didn't understand why Mom kept talking about the past life, but every word weighed on me, like something heavy was pressing against my chest. Besides, Ariana Rogers had always been the person George cared about most. They were always playing house together, and I was the one left out. "Dad, I've decided. I want Clyde Muller as my brother," I said firmly. Dad put the photos away and gently ruffled my hair. "All right, I respect your choice. In 2 days, I'll host a dinner and make it official." Mom let out a long breath. "That's more like it. My girl will grow up safe this time." After Dad and the others left to talk, I changed into one of my dresses and went out for some air. The moment I opened the door, I saw 3 familiar figures standing in the hallway. They were the kids I always played with and the ones Dad had been considering adopting. George was there too. Clyde wasn't. Martin Wright grinned and came over. "Tam, I heard you're picking a brother. So who is it?" Trevor Flintstone cut in. "Who else would it be? It's gotta be George. Everyone knows she clings to him. She always saves the good stuff for him first." George just glanced at me indifferently, acting all grown up. "I really don't remember the past few years. I only remember playing with Ariana, but if the adults have decided, I'll take care of you." Mom let out a cold laugh. "In the past life, that brat pretended to have amnesia and stuck to Ariana while enjoying everything you did for him. In the end, he left you heartbroken for the longest time. What a brat." I looked at George's indifferent expression. If Mom hadn't warned me, I probably would have believed him again. In the past, I used to trust him so much. I really thought he liked being friends with me. I still remembered my birthday 3 years ago. He gathered all the kids around to sing the birthday song for me, his eyes shining as he said, "Tam, I'll protect you forever." At that moment, I was so touched I nearly cried. From then on, I followed him everywhere. I never imagined he actually preferred playing with Ariana all along. He'd only been nice to me because of my dad. And now, he was just pretending to have amnesia so that he could openly say he liked being with Ariana while still agreeing to take care of me so that Dad would adopt him. As if things were that simple. What a jerk. I held back from exposing him and thought that I would let him enjoy himself for 2 more days. Honestly, I really wanted to see the look on his face when he heard Dad's announcement in person. Seeing me stay quiet, Martin nudged my shoulder. "So who did you pick?" I said calmly. "You'll find out in 2 days." I turned to leave, but Trevor's voice came from behind me. "George, she definitely picked you. Remember when you had a fever? Tam ran through the rain to get medicine for you and ended up soaking wet herself. She treats you so well." "Really?" George smirked, clearly pleased. I didn't know she cared that much about me. Something pricked in my chest, and my eyes instantly burned, but I forced myself not to cry. Everyone around here knew I liked being around George. Even though the other kids teased me for being his tag-along, I didn't care. I had lost my mom when I was young, and Dad was always away on missions. George was the only one who stood up for me when other kids bullied me, so when he became my friend, I was so happy. I told myself I'd be extra nice to him. But now I realize that maybe he was only nice to me because of who Dad was. "Tamsin, wait," George called out. I turned and saw him walking toward me, holding one of Ariana's dolls. "I know you picked me," he said. "I'll be your brother, but I hope you won't interfere when I hang out with Ariana." I looked at him seriously. "Didn't you lose your memory? How are you so sure I picked you?" George frowned. "Everyone says you like hanging out with me the most. Who else would you pick?" A wave of anger surged in me. So he knew all along how much I cared, yet he still treated my feelings like this. "Don't worry, I won't cling to you anymore. You can spend all the time you want with Ariana." Honestly, I figured if he knew I chose Clyde, he'd probably be even happier. George froze for a moment, clearly surprised by how easily I agreed. I turned and kept walking. He instinctively reached out to grab me, but suddenly, a child's bicycle came wobbling straight toward me. The wheel slammed into my leg, and I fell hard onto the ground. My palms scraped against the rough concrete, the skin breaking open. Ariana jumped off the bike in a panic, her voice trembling and tearful as she rushed toward me. "Tam, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you." Before I could say anything, Mom's voice exploded in my head. "That little actress! Last time she also grabbed your swing first, then cried as if you bullied her. That idiotic George believed her every single time." Sure enough, seeing Ariana on the verge of tears, George softened immediately. "It's fine, Ariana. It was just an accident. Tam won't blame you." He helped Ariana up, then turned to me with a look of annoyance. "It's just a scrape. Don't make such a big deal out of it." My arm burned with pain as I forced myself to stand, holding back tears. Ariana sniffled. Tam, I'm really sorry. I wasn't paying attention while riding. How about I hit myself once to make it up to you? Ariana raised her hand like she was about to hit herself, but George quickly stopped her. He shot me an angry look. Tamsin, she already apologized. Can you stop making a big deal out of this? Mom got even angrier in my head. That little brat. My girl hasn't said a single word, and this whole thing is just that little actress putting on a show. Sweetheart, don't you let this slide again. I had always listened to Mom, so I raised my hand and shoved Ariana hard. Then I looked at George. This is what making a big deal looks like. My mom taught me that. Sitting on the ground, Ariana was completely stunned. George was just as shocked. A flicker of anger showed on his young face. Tamsin, I then shoved him too. This is what crossing the line looks like. Ever since I'd known him, I had always gone along with whatever he wanted. I had never pushed back. That one move completely threw him off. George stared at me in disbelief, his face flushing red with anger. Fine, you've got guts. Just don't regret this later. Ariana, I'll take you to the infirmary. Mom scoffed coldly. Not a kind word for you, even when you're hurt. Yet he's worried about the one who ran into you. If you really bring someone like that into your family, that's when you'd regret it. Oh, my poor girl. That must hurt so much. I looked down at my scraped, bleeding palms, and the hurt I'd been holding in finally spilled over. Every time I got hurt before, George would panic, wishing he could take the pain for me. Maybe that concern hadn't all been fake, but now he didn't even see my injuries. All he cared about was protecting Ariana. Even if he really became my brother, it would probably just end tragically all over again, the same way as Mom said. I wiped my tears and went to the infirmary to have a nurse treat the scrapes on my hands. A few nurses were gathered by the window, peering out toward the playground. Curious, I looked too. Ariana and George were hiding behind the basketball hoop, whispering to each other. Then, Ariana tugged on his sleeve, acting cute. George, if Tam finds out you pretended to lose your memory just so you could hang out with me, she'll definitely get mad. George casually ruffled her hair. So what if she gets mad? She likes me the most anyway. Even if I pretend not to remember, she'll still come begging to be my friend. In your dreams, Mom snapped in my head. My girl didn't pick you this time. Just wait until the announcement. You won't be so smug then. My face scrunched up unhappily as I clutched my bandaged hand and headed back to class. Suddenly screams broke out across the playground. Some older kids are fighting. Go get a teacher. The whole place descended into chaos. I instinctively tried to run, but one of the older boys crashed into me, knocking me to the ground. The broomstick in his hand swung toward my head. Though I had learned a few self-defense moves from Dad, I was still small and not strong enough. When I saw George notice the commotion, I shouted, George, help me! He was about to come over, but Ariana grabbed his arm tightly. George, I'm scared. Don't go, okay? That moment of hesitation was enough for the broomstick to strike my arm, reopening my freshly bandaged wound. Blood seeped through, and the pain made my eyes water. This is outrageous. That brat's fake amnesia has wiped out his conscience too. After everything you've done for him, he just stands there and lets you get hurt. Mom fumed. I could barely stand, but I forced out one last cry. George, it hurts. Please help me. Before I could finish, Ariana suddenly screamed. Another older kid had rushed toward them. George immediately pulled Ariana behind him, and without looking back, he ran off with her. I watched their backs disappear, my chest aching like it was being stabbed. Even if he didn't like playing with me anymore, we had grown up together. When things got dangerous, why wouldn't he even help me? Suddenly, someone rushed over and kicked the older boy away from me. Clyde pulled me to my feet and shielded me as he hurried me toward the school building. Let's go. By the time the teachers arrived and broke up the fight, I was still shaken. Sitting by the flower bed, I trembled. Clyde silently handed me a bottle of water, his expression complicated. I noticed his sleeve had been torn open during the chaos, revealing a scar underneath. Your arm, I said softly. He quickly pulled his sleeve down. It's nothing. Drink some water. I thanked him quietly, warmth rising in my chest. The incident quickly reached Dad. He was furious and went straight to confront the families of those boys. The Rogers family immediately grounded Ariana at home as punishment and even sent over a box of imported chocolates as an apology. That night, George came to see me, but he clearly didn't want to be there. He tossed a bag of snacks onto the table. Tamsin, what happened today wasn't Ariana's fault, he said. Why did you get her grounded? I raised my bandaged arm. Look carefully. George froze for a second, then argued. But you're fine, aren't you? Everyone knows your dad dotes on you, so someone would have helped you anyway. But Ariana only has me to protect her. He added, you saw it too. She almost got hit today. Please stop targeting her all the time, okay? Go talk to your dad and get her family to stop grounding her. Otherwise, I won't agree to be your brother. He sounded completely confident, like he was sure I'd give in. So shameless, Mom snapped. I was completely disappointed in him now, so I didn't even want to argue. I have homework to do. You should go. As the housekeeper escorted him out, he angrily shouted, Tamsin, you'll regret this. The next day, Dad hosted a lively gathering at the military hall and invited all the kids. I wore my favorite floral dress and walked in, only to be surprised to see Ariana there too. She was supposed to be grounded, yet she was here in a brand new dress, smugly making faces at me. George must have gotten her out. Funny how he never went this far for you in the past life, Mom said, scoffing. When George saw me, he immediately turned away and started laughing loudly with Ariana on purpose. The other kids whispered among themselves. Why is George ignoring Tam? Is he sticking with Ariana now? Doesn't Tam like George the most? She's definitely going to pick him as her brother, right? Clyde stood quietly in the corner. When he heard them, he shot them a cold look, and they quickly scattered. Dad smiled and led me to the center of the stage, handing me a small red megaphone. Tam, today you'll tell everyone yourself who you've chosen as your brother. Okay. I took the megaphone and noticed George staring at me nervously, while Ariana clutched his sleeve tightly. I gave him a small smile, took a deep breath, and spoke clearly. Thank you all for coming to my ceremony. The hall fell silent with all eyes on me. George straightened unconsciously. Ariana tugged at his sleeve, looking uneasy. My clear voice echoed through the hall. Now, I'm going to announce that my brother is...